Hey, what's going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegges with you. Just wanted to hop on here for about 10 to 15 minutes just to talk about the weather out west for us in California, Southern Oregon specifically, as we continue to get nailed at round after round of these atmospheric rivers. You see the satellite loop above my head. That is the water vapor imagery. Big storm off the coast of California yesterday, kind of drawing in one of the two more significant atmospheric rivers of this whole kind of 2-week event here that we are going to stay very, very wet. So this is number one in the extremely intense. We'll take a break on Friday, and then we're going to have another really big push of tropical Pacific moisture. We're going to get all into that. Right now, the Sierre Nevada is getting a ton of heavy snow. Then I'll show you how much rain is to come in the short term and in the long term. But right now, Mammoth Lakes, South Lake Tahoe, we're getting in on that very heavy snow. You see the heavy rain towards Fresno. There's the flooding report there. Some flooding already on State Route 99 at Belmond Avenue. If you're familiar with that area, even if you aren't, again, this is all to be anticipated. We've been talking about this for the last week or so, that we would have a lot of heavy rain. Hey, what's going on, Matthew? Ethan, good to see you, my friend. Hey, Ann, good morning. Hope all is well with you in Central Tennessee. Guys are up early. I guess it's not that early on the East Coast. 9:22, 6:22 Pacific time. But these atmospheric rivers are going to continue. The very heavy rainfall now, the flooding concerns are going to be just inland of Eureka. Lost on my radar. There it goes. Hayfork getting a lot of heavy rain. There was some rain down into Fresno that's super heavy. Bakersfield getting in on that as well, just outside of Yosemite National Park. So there is a lot of heavy rain obviously coming to the pipeline. This has been well documented. I want to show you here the progression. I'm going to take you to the high resolution radar for today, and we're going to take it out to, there we go. That's kind of where we are right now. So future radar is doing a nice job showing where the heaviest rain and snow is. It kind of looks like the actual radar. So that's when you can believe this a little bit more. Again, it's all guidance, not gospel by any means. But you see the very heavy rainfall continuing. This is now going to be about noon Pacific time. And you see the heavy snow now moving into Elko. So we're going to see this moisture really kind of stream back in to places like Nevada and Utah. So some heavy snow coming to central Nevada as well. 1 hour east of Bakersfield. Be safe out there. That's crazy. Are you seeing? I guess you're seeing the super heavy rainfall right now. Nice and sunny in Tennessee. It did. I know, right? It's how it always works. That's how it always works. No precip yet. Missed that report. Thank you, Matthew, for that. Southern Kern County, SoCal, right now, no precip falling, just cloudy. We'll eventually get in on some of that sunshine, mainly tomorrow. We may see some as early as today. But certainly it's going to turn colder in central Florida as well behind that front and behind that drier air pushing in. So I want to get to this because I only have about 10 minutes to stream today. So here we go with the heavy snow going through. And we have some people watching in Nevada as well. So I want to make sure we're hitting northeast Nevada. Then this is as we get into Friday. So this is Friday morning, early Friday morning, about 3 a.m. Pacific time. I think we're going to take a nice break for the Friday morning portion anyway, but look at already by Friday afternoon. Look how crazy this is. We have another round. We have another round of heavy rain towards Northern California, Eureka, Redding. This is where a big-time flood threat's going to set up. And you see it just unloading. Again, this is going to be one of those very, very tight, very, very kind of fire hosey, just guided and directed right towards one area. So this big time flash flood risk, mudslide risk, infrastructure collapse risk with like the roads and things like that, really going to ramp up again. This is Friday night into Saturday morning. Again, this is late Friday night now, Pacific time into early Saturday morning. The very heavy rain moving through Northern California. That particular radar only goes out, or future radar only goes out 48 hours, but I want to show you this through the weekend. Look at all the additional rain. Again, we're starting this at about Friday morning. So this is 7 a.m. on Friday, or 7 a.m. Today's the 5th. This is 7 a.m. on Thursday. There is the rain that kind of fell, and then watch just this all up and down the coast. This is through Tuesday evening now, and you have areas in Northern California. Still, again, this has been highly accurate, highly advertised about the potential for 6 to 12 inches or more of rain in Northern California, more like 4 to 8 in Southern California, with isolated higher amounts, places like LA, getting into Laguna Beach, things like that. And then the copious amounts of moisture in the Sierra Nevadas. I mean, that's the model putting out 10 to 14 inches of liquid equivalent. I mean, we're talking about 60 inches of additional snowfall to maybe even up to 100 inches of additional snowfall. So like up to 8 feet additional snow in the higher elevations of the Sierra Nevadas. Crazy. It is, and I know we have one of our friends here that live down in this area, so they're going to get some rain in here, but it's crazy, and the mountains are going to help kind of protect that, so everything kind of gets wrung out over the higher elevation there, and then it kind of dries out in parts of Southern California. The crazy amounts of moisture, and it's all crazy through Southern California, are going to be moving through. Sorry for that little blip there. Well, we're back anyway. We had a little blip. There you go. So, a lot of rain coming through over the next few days. And again, it'll be more beneficial towards the Lake Mead area. Certainly some flash flooding is possible in Arizona, in extreme southeast California, in parts of southern Nevada towards Las Vegas, Lake Mead, and then into southern Utah where it's not snow. But this is more going to be beneficial in this area, where here it could be catastrophic because we don't want all the rain at once. We are going to get all the rain at once and then just kind of unload there. I want to show you the snowfall forecast as well. This is still the model output, and I don't know how well you can see. I'll point it out here with the telestrator. In just 1 second, let me pull up the chat again. This is the model forecast through Tuesday evening, Pacific time. Look at all this color here. You see 117, that's the model forecasting 117 inches of snow. That's crazy. I mean, once you're pushing, that's getting up into the 6 to 8 feet territory. All up in here as well. So the ski lovers are going to be loving this. It's going to help to replenish all of the reservoirs that are out there. So there is a positive to this, but you don't want it all at once. And unfortunately, that's what we are going to get. So here this is some really, really good information here from Matthew, kind of perspective since he lives this on a daily basis. He said back in 2017, snow in Sierras. And I remember that was a really, really really good winter for the Sierras. Some of these big atmospheric rivers coming in, the Pineapple Express, we're hooked up to that tropical Pacific moisture. So that's some great stuff right there. And hopefully it has the same kind of deal, which it should, because, we're talking through Tuesday, feet of additional snow in the Sierras, and we are going to get that runoff. So hopefully that does keep all of the reservoirs and rivers kind of filled up. And this really helps the drought situation. Typically, we don't see this in a La Nina winter. It's normally the El Nino winter that we get these big Pacific storms rolling through these atmospheric rivers, the Pineapple Express, whatever you want to call it, giving a flood threat, but also helping to keep the drought situation down. It's going to be interesting to see what next week's drought monitor is going to show. Everybody's still almost in a drought. There's still the severe and exceptional drought through parts of Nevada and California. I would have to think that most of that is going to be wiped out. Again, that's the that's the good part of this. The bad part is going to be in the short term. I mean, we're going to get inches of rain, potentially feet of rain, a foot of rain, in parts of Northern California. No doubt about that. No doubt about that, especially with the terrain in this part of the world. Any kind of rain in a short period amount of time, that's, a couple of inches an hour, is going to do some big time damage. And we're talking way more than that going forward. I mean, just look at that. This is again on Friday night into Saturday. The fire hose really cranked up again, just blasting Northern California. San Francisco is right here for reference. Los Angeles, San Diego down in this part. So we're at least taking a break in Southern California for the time being. But then all of that going to stream back down on the west coast of California and just unleash all that water, all that moisture to there. I mean, look at some of those numbers. Again, that's through Wednesday night. Just so much rain, way too much rain. In North California, the Sierre Nevada is just getting crushed with snow. So again, great question. There is. So the one that's ongoing right now, and then the one to follow that's coming in Friday afternoon and into the weekend, these two are going to be the most significant, but then there are a couple of more. I'll show that to you. We're basically looking here. This is where the storm is, this little swirl here. And then this is the Pineapple Express, as it's known. It extends all the way back to Hawaii. You see that there, and then just kind of unloads all of its moisture. So as we take that out, we get rid of one, and then here comes number two. There goes that intense moisture right on into Northern California. And then we go forward in time again. This is on Sunday afternoon. It makes its way down. And then there's another one here. So this one is looking even intense. This one into Monday and Tuesday. So this is Monday evening now. Another. I mean, it's just crazy. This one really guided towards Santa Barbara, San Francisco, Salinas. And that just parades down. And then there's one more. Look at this. This is through the middle of next week now. This is Wednesday and Thursday. I mean, it's just going to be really relentless. Relentless as it goes on through. So what happens here, you kind of see this, if you look above my head, this swirl. We are having these like crazy, these storms. See this little swirl here up at the top of my head where I'm drawing on my other telestrator? We have these big storms come on through, and then it kind of yanks the atmospheric river right on through. So we're in a very stormy pattern. So you can see that little swirl there. Here's another little swirl. This is the little low pressure right there that guides in that moisture. So you see this oftentimes a lot too in the Gulf of Mexico, not to this extreme nature because the water source is kind of contained in the Gulf, but every now and then you get these big storms in winter, kind of get a fire hose of moisture into Florida or into Texas or the deep south. But all that stuff. They have been getting, it's been crazy what's been going on. It does certainly favor that, but typically we would see a ridge here in a La Nina pattern. So we would typically see a ridge out here, and then those storms kind of favor Oregon and Washington rather than California. So where you do see an active jet stream, an active polar jet anyway, it's typically favored in British Columbia, Washington, maybe extreme Northern California. Yeah, so there you go. Yep, 100%. So it's typically the Pacific Northwest, because I believe even the seasonal outlook from the Climate Prediction Center wanted the drought to persist in California. So typically, again, in a El Nino year, you're getting the subtropical jet like down here, because then that's what gives you the good snow. That's what gives you the good snow in wintertime along the 95 corridor, because you have the jet coming through a little further south to merge further to the east, to blast the southeast sometimes, and then to kind of get on over. So yeah, weather watchers spot on, active pattern. La Nina is responsible, but typically it's more the Pacific Northwest rather than having kind of these directed at California. But every now and then, again, the pattern isn't gospel per se. It doesn't, once it sets up, that's what it is the whole year. You have the pattern breakdowns, you have things like that. But, I mean, as long as this is happening as well, I know there's a lot of talk out there on social media about the Northeast getting blasted with snow soon. As long as this pattern is holding, that's not going to happen. So the social media hype needs to pipe down a little bit for any of those watching that's posting about that. And I'll have a video on that a little bit later. But anyway, that's my spiel. That's my rant. But yeah, I hope that answers the question a little bit. And hey, Bobby Girl in Bristol, a couple of people from Tennessee. So if we take a look at the wider view here, these kind of fizzle out. So I don't think it's going to be like the last couple. We had that last atmospheric river come through and help to create that severe weather in the south. I don't see that with this one. These are kind of stay clinging out to the west. This is still a result. So you might have actually a few showers through Kentucky, Mississippi River Valley over the weekend as a result of that, but it's going to be a shallow itself. We're not expecting like anything crazy. Some light snow through Nebraska later tomorrow as well. Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like the El Nino could come on strong. And I'm wondering if like the atmosphere is already realizing that. That is my thought, because for this hurricane season behaved like an El Nino hurricane season, at least to start. It wasn't until the very end that it was like, oh, hey, we are in a La Nina. It's time to go gangbusters. So I'm interested to see if like the atmosphere is already catching on to some of the changes, going on. Again, the water temperature is just kind of the indication that the trade winds are backing off a little bit. Or increasing, I should say, because that it increases in an El Nino, lets that water upwell a little bit more. It forces the warm air back, but as those trade winds weaken, it lets that warmer air kind of head back towards the equatorial South America coast, and then that's whenever you're judging how strong the El Nino is by the temperature anomaly right in that El Nino 3.4 region out kind of in between South America and Australia. Alrighty, guys. Hey, I have to run. I have to head to work. This has been great stuff this morning. Thank you, Weather Watcher, for your insight as well, mentioning about the La Nina pattern and the El Nino stuff going on and all the atmospheric rivers. Thank you to our friend Matthew as well, who has it was telling us just about how it was in 2017. Hopefully we have a repeat performance with that to keep everything filled up through the summer and any potential drought that may come back. Thank you as well. I appreciate that, my friend. Good to see you as always. And hopefully we get that part of the positive. We just need to escape kind of this like catastrophic flood threat here that's going to continue to unfold, not only through the weekend here, especially in Northern California, but then as we get into the middle part of the upcoming week. So I hope everybody stays safe. Again, if you're watching from California, I know we don't deal with this stuff a lot, and it's been a while since we've seen this much rain. Please make sure that you are paying close attention. Don't drive through flooded waters. You know the saying, turn around, don't drown. They say that for a reason. And of course, with the terrain, we could have roads being washed out, mudslides. You know I hate hype here. You know I hate I can't even say that word, centralize. See, I can't do it. I went to school for science. But anyway, you know what I mean. This is a pretty big deal in California as well. You have a great day as well. You as well. And I am going to do my best to. My plan is anyway to do a stream sometime late morning, early afternoon on Saturday. I always like to try to hop on, regardless of if there's anything going on, just to see what's going on with everybody and just kind of hanging out, talking about the weather and all that stuff. So that is my plan anyway, unless something comes up. Awesome, Matthew. Well, hey, be safe out there, my friend. Stay dry, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks to everybody for hopping on this early morning, kind of early morning, certainly on the West Coast live stream. Have a great day, guys.